5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, my name is Samantha Pounds, and I am actually recording a video speech for the Introduction to Humanities online class. My speech will actually cover, in specific, 2 different authors in 2 different time periods, and I know that the option was given to pick an actual subject, but there were 2 authors in specific that I wanted to talk about, which I have learned so much from them just from being in this class. The historical period that I have actually chosen to talk about, as I said, were 2 different periods, and I wanted to kind of talk about the ancient Greek epic period and a mix of the contemporary literature period. Artists in this period that I will be talking about are Homer, which he is the author of the oh so famous The Odyssey, and Geoffrey Chaucer, who is the author of the Canterbury Tales. Just to kind of give in specific, to kind of talk about Homer. Homer, he of course, as I said, is the author of the Odyssey. But in specific, in the Odyssey, he used a lot of creativity to paint a very, very vivid picture in the reader's eyes. And as I was reading this story, I actually did not realize that the Odyssey was a poem. I actually just thought it was just a very long, epic story. I was always taught that it was just an epic story, but it was never once pinpointed that it was an actual poem, which was very, very interesting to me, as taking this humanities class. Content in the Odyssey is seen somewhat very complex for readers. And the reason that I say this is because by it being an epic, it kind of jumps a little bit. You have one section where it kind of talks about his beginning, and then it kind of jumps automatically to an adventure, and then it jumps back. So for readers, it can be very complex, and essentially it can be a bit confusing. Most likely, the Odyssey was written between 750 and 650 BC. And as I also said, this is an epic poem who pretty much just deals with the wanderings of the Greek hero Odysseus, and it follows him through his journey in the Trojan War. Now, the second author that I will talk about is Geoffrey Chaucer, who is most noted for the Canterbury Tales story. And the Canterbury Tales story is a very fun story. I actually got the opportunity to read it while being, taking part of the humanities class online, and I actually kind of read it just for side reference. And this story just follows the journey of at least 9 pilgrims as they travel from Southwark to St. Thomas, and each character has its own personality in every way imaginable. According to the text, it says that Chaucer wrote the Canterbury Tales for convenience, and it was written more than a century before the printing press was invented. The significant impact that both authors, Homer and Chaucer, has on readers was that these works of art were performed out loud, and that was something that was very popular during each time period. For example, the Odyssey was essentially performed as a poem. It was performed as theater as well, and the text also states that Chaucer, he actually read the Canterbury Tales out loud to readers, and that was very phenomenal during that time period for any author to do that. How does these 2 works of literature relate to material covered in this course? Well, both works of literature were both a stepping stone for literature with a mixture of language. In particular, Chaucer's Canterbury Tales was written in Middle English, and it had a specification of the London-based dialect. It was actually a stepping stone of what we now know as the English language. And this is also true for Homer's The Odyssey. According to the text, the Odyssey is considered a poem, as I said before, and however, the Odyssey is most used by students in acting. It is used to help them develop very good diction as a performer, because as a former theater student myself, I know how important it is to be on stage and to have very good diction and very good posture so that the audience can understand, what the actors are saying while on stage. Are there any other relations that both works of art have to each other? Actually, it is. Both works of art depict two different literary structures. One of my favorite structures is the narrative structure, and although